given access to receive messages of clarity, guidance, and love. As channeler, psychotherapist, and author, Noemi Grace has an intimate dialogue with the divine on your behalf. Lisa Berry, creator of the show Light on Living, will be co-hosting as live callers ask their burning question on self-love, self-healing, deepening relationships, areas of struggle, and next steps. By simply listening in, you're receiving wisdom that will lead to sacred stability from every channeled message that Noemi delivers. Join us now as we give you access to angels and grace. Welcome everyone. Hello and welcome to Access to Angels and Grace. I'm one of the hosts, Lisa Berry.
And I'm Noemi Grace. So glad to have channeler. You listening. Yes, the lovely channeler. Thank you.
We really look forward to your guidance here. And I was listening to the intro, and it really is access to so much. Yes, I want to wrap it up by saying so much, but it is access. This whole show and why you show up is to help people gain access to these things.
Absolutely. And access, we have the access, but it's like we have the access. We have this lovely doorway that we can walk through, but there's a key and we don't know that we have the key around our neck and we're looking for it. Or we just say we don't have the key. And the key is right within us. And so it's just a pleasure and a gift to be able to help people find that key within themselves.
Oh, that's beautiful. When you said about around your neck, and of course I'm thinking of all the people who wear glasses and put them on their heads or wear them on a lovely little chain or something around their necks, and they're looking everywhere for them. And today's show really is about looking and finding and looking and expanding, but expanding where you're looking. And you and I talked about blinders. We have blinders on, and it's preventing us from seeing further or more or differently. But it's not because we are, it can be a little bit of protection, like we're not ready yet. So I know when I'm watching something scary, I put my little blinders on and I cup and I peek through a little bit until I know what I want to see and don't want to see. I'm one of those. And then we also can say, you know what, I'm ready to see more, and maybe I need to look to see where someone else is walking, as we said, following tracks, following steps, to see maybe I want to go there. That's a possibility. That's interesting.
And it's also learning how to align with that highest knowing. We're so taught to look externally for all of our answers, and the best answers lie within. But sometimes you got to wade through a bunch of stuff, a bunch of layers of muck and stuff that's in the way to get to that truth, that best knowing, which is inside.
So everybody listening today on today's special show, we know that you've come here for a very poignant request for access to something. And what we were really feeling is that people are wanting to gain access to the truth of who, you're going to have to help me out here. We are yes. Like who we really are.
Exactly.
And if you could, I want to invite you, Noemi, to explain not the difference, but like that feeling, the energetic shift between knowing the truth of who we are, or the truth of who our truths. Remember, you kind of helped me out there because I was a little bit confused on my truth.
Yeah,
and truth.
Yeah. So a lot of times, when we're having even a disagreement or a conversation with someone, and we'll say, my truth is, and so basically my truth is this, your truth is that. But the truth of who we are is not that. This is a much more, the truth of who we are is our core, the kernel of us. It's the core being of us. And Abraham calls it the inner being. And that inner being is divine. It is love. It is grace. It is so many wonderful attributes that flow from divine. So it's sourced in divine. We are sourced in divine, and inside, and the truth of us is divine. And so when I say my truth is that I I don't like when you talk to me in that tone. That's not the same thing as the truth of who I am, which is divine.
Right. Divine. You've had me fall in love with that word now, because over the few months that we've been doing this show, I didn't have a relationship. It's neither good nor bad, but I didn't have a relationship with that word. And now I'm realizing that I hear you say that the truth of who we are is divine. And it's so light. And
for me, I love source too, but for me, that is the best word, the best alignment for me, the best resonance for me, that describes that which is, I am that I am, that the divine, the God, Jehovah, source, great spirit, however you want to look at it, the great mystery, that which is so much greater, and that which is the oneness that we are in connection with. Yes.
But you said the great mystery, because you had said something about the great forgetting. No, yes. You'd mentioned the great forgetting. That is a mystery. So, because we actually knew who we are, but we've forgotten it. What makes us forget or not remember?
Yeah, so we knew who we were before we got here in this lifetime. We were quite well aware. And we forget through the trauma for some people of birth. For some people it's not very traumatic, but the trauma of some souls coming into birth, and through early childhood, early child rearing, becoming verbal, becoming socialized, domesticated, as Don Miguel Ruiz says, into the personalities and the people that we are starting to become, and we forget who we are. When we were on the other side, we knew who we were, and so we go through what shamans call the great forgetting. It's like this big blanket over each one of us and over all of humanity, this like veil that we forget. We've forgotten who we are, because if we remembered who we were, what is going on now would not be a struggle in the way that it is for us, because we would be so much above that. Not that I'm above, I'm better than, but we would not be caught up with the negativity and the fear, because who we are, the essence of who we are, there's no fear there. It is knowing and it is love.
You're right. Yes. When I think about what I would be afraid of, like what is something that I, in my life that I'd be afraid of, and you're right. They always say the fear is the unknown. You're afraid of that, but because as soon as you know something, you feel so much more prepared, supported, you have an understanding of what it is, and it's almost like, okay, now I know my next steps, which is what we're talking about, having your truth tracks, like your train tracks of your truth, that you know which steps to take, because the veil has been lifted and you do remember and you feel that confidence.
Yeah, and the knowing is beyond confidence, right? Because we can feel confident that we've studied for an exam, and we can feel confident that we're going to get a good score. But the knowing is unshakable. It is so it is like grounding. It is something beyond confidence. It is really truth in its deepest form, and it is something that no amount of doubt cast on you by other people can shake. And it is something that defies self-doubt. Yes.
I love that. No amount of doubt can cast. I'll have to re-listen to that one, but I love that. It's like I just know it to be true. I know it. Well, that brings us to a perfect place, I think. Would you like to share what you had shared with me this morning was just so perfect. And everybody listening, I've got to ask you have to ask yourself this question, is, when you have a situation come up and then literally the next person that shows up in maybe your message board or your emails or something on TV, and it's answering or giving you advice or guidance on that exact thing that you're like, I just was needing that answer. And you showed up this morning with that for a friend of mine, and I was like, oh, come on, this is just way too perfect. I love this.
Synchronicity. Yeah, what you're looking for is showing up. And sometimes it's showing up before you even know that you're looking for it. And so,
that's way better. I like that.
Love that. So it'd be a good time to share the reading. Yeah. So, because it was in this reading that I read to you, gave you a recording of, that truth was there. So I'm just going to take a swig of water, hopefully not too noisy.
And I like to highlight that to everybody. I like that once it shows up before you've even begun looking for it. That is, I'm going to put that into my little pattern of living from now on. I'm going to request that, and I'm going to believe and know that to be true, that things will show up for me before I'm even looking for them.
And then when they show up, it's so clear. It's like, oh, yeah. You know, when I started to receive the divine messages, I wasn't looking for it. And I liked the idea of, like Neil Donald Walsh, being able to have a conversation with God. I thought that was great. I liked the idea of it. I thought it would be nice, but it wasn't like I was looking for it, never expected it. And there it drops into my living room when I'm on the elliptical. I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty cool. So, but when it showed up, it was like so clear that, yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So, all right. So this is called Be Willing to Discover You. Learn to go within. Outside is a storm of great magnitude. Inside is your unshakable truth and knowing, which serve you well as you navigate the storm. Let your inner knowing be your compass, map, and guide. Let the truth of who you are guide you to safety every moment. Be willing and interested in discovering the truth of who you are, which is very different from what you call your truth. Be willing to go within and find yourself, to discover the truth of who you are. You may say, I don't know how. We say in response to you, your desire is how. Your desire will lead you if you engage with it every day. Each day, say to yourself, I want to know the truth of who I am. And then open your heart and mind to see beyond the boundaries of where you have always seen. And be willing to see yourself and your life in a different light. Be willing to discover you, the real you, which has been masked and hidden away. Now is the time for discovery. The real you knows how to be guided in the moment to the best outcomes. You need the real you now. No other you will serve you in this time of change, this time of crisis where profound change is possible and needed for your survival and thriving. So much magnificence awaits you now and is possible now like never before. Do not lose sight of hope. You are the hope for a better future, both individually and collectively. You may want to hit the fast forward button to get past this time, but we encourage you to be with this time, to go deeper in this time, to stop skimming the surface of life. Dive into the truth of who you are and the truth of who we are. Your desire is your ticket to the express train to self-discovery, self-flowering, and self-flourishing. This is the path that awaits you now, like never before. And we are here with you now and always. In great gratitude and love, we are complete. Namaste.
There's so much in there. We have quite a bit to go through that, but I think the lovely thing was this: be willing. Be willing to see, be willing to look, and be willing to find.
Yes, and they said willing and interested, which I thought was really interesting. Be interested in it. Like, yes, I want to discover the truth of who I am. I'm not just willing to, I'm not just as not, being willing is a huge thing. But then to also be interested in it. Okay, I'm willing to change my diet. No, I'm interested, like, whoa, I'm going to discover new new recipes and new things, so in terms of something like changing your diet. So I like the part about being interested as well,
Yes. It's actually one of my definitions I use when I remember learning years ago that somebody asked me, what do you think the opposite of love is? And then a lot of people will say hate. And, they're both these very passionate things. And then in my learning of definition of love, it's like to be interested in, to be curious about, to care about, have concern about, have that. So I do love that part is, be interested has a little bit more of a connection and not just here you go, toss you into the willingness of it all.
Right. You could be willing to do something that you are dreading, but being interested in it is there's some enthusiasm there.
Yes. Oh, when we come back, we're not going to scooch away just yet, but when we do come back from commercial, I think that the ticket, to the express train.
I like that part.
Because everybody listening, you do have a ticket. It's the key, and it is to get on the train that allows you to go on those truth tracks. I'm loving the truth tracks. I have to say, like chugga on the truth tracks. Because it does. It just offers that you are on the right path, on tracks, you're moving, you're in alignment. And we'll talk a little bit about, we'll get Noemi to even channel some of these questions on how do we, how? You said, that desire is the how. So we're going to really, a lot of people say that, I just don't know how. So you're going to be helping to answer those people right now that are asking that question of how?
Sounds good.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
The universe is eager to help you and give you clarity. You only need to be willing to ask your burning question and listen to the answer Source wants you to have. As a channeler of divine messages, I take your questions directly to the divine and hear what Source is longing to tell you. I'm Noemi Grace, and my co-host Lisa Berry and I welcome you to join us as a listener or caller on Access to Angels and Grace, 2 Wednesdays a month. Call in, ask your most burning questions, hear the divine's exact words giving you guidance and clarity. Access to Angels and Grace, where messages of joy await you.
Looking for inspiration?
Want to be inspired?
Not sure where to go?
Find Mark and Kim every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Inspired Living.
Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience and all things spiritual.
Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Oh, Oh, I'm so glad that we are back, because I got all these questions flooding through my heart here, Noemi. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, because we often have like some, people write in some questions, or we have some ahead of time, but we haven't had that the last few times. And I was like, I just actually couldn't even shut them off right now. So I was trying to put them into to some organization.
Wonderful.
Yes, you're going to like these ones. So we were really talking about how you and I understand, as we were discussing, like, yes, there's an alignment that we have when we know who we are that allows us to stay on these tracks and to move forward. But the two, to bring this into like everyday kind of like, okay, in my life, what's going on, there's these two common statements that people make. I just kept hearing them right now and I'm going to say them both, so maybe the listeners will identify with one or both. We often will say, I don't know what to do, or I want to, but don't know how. And this is where knowing who we really are will help us. And I wondered if you can speak, yourself, and then channel as well to those two, which is, I don't know what to do, and the other, I want to, but I don't know how.
Sure. So sometimes people will say that to me, like a client will say that to me, and I will say, there's a place inside you that does know what to do, and you need to access that place in order to find out what to do. Because we have so much wisdom within, and when we know who we are and we can access that truth for ourselves, that personal truth that is a high personal truth, then we can find out what's best for us. And so I don't know what to do is not a bad place. I say that's great. That's better than thinking you know what to do and not even considering any other options, because I know what to do, right? So that place of not knowing, even though it's an uncomfortable place, because we're not, as a species, too keen on not knowing. So we'd rather think we know than not know. But it's an honest place. And so I appreciate the honesty of I don't know what to do. And yet inside you do know what to do. And so I guess that's the answer to the second one as well, in terms of learning to access the truth within, learning to access the guidance that's within. And it requires stillness. It requires a willingness to let go of a lot of things, and to recognize, when we're in our ego versus that true essence, that divine within.
I am hearing that how, because I know it connects with desires, like I want to, but I don't know how. It usually means I know how, but I don't like how I have to do the how. And that's where we have to allow the desire to take over and lead the way to the how, that we can say, I know this might be uncomfortable, and I'll bring this right up. This is the one thing that I know one of my friends is going through. She really wants to quit smoking, but she doesn't know how she can do it. And the desire, you almost have to follow that, like trust in that your desire of all the benefits of quitting or what that will bring for you will be the how.
That's the starting point.
I put a very specific thing on that, didn't I?
Yeah. Okay. No, that's the starting point, right? That desire. Without the desire, cigarettes are constructed to be very addictive. So without the how, addictions is one of the specialties that I work with. So as a psychotherapist, and without that how, without that desire, you're not going anywhere. If it's like, I really should quit, nobody's going to quit with that. With that attitude, that motivation. Yes. So, but the strong desire is the starting point. It's the beginning of the how. It is not, it's what did they say about the desire? Let's see. Your desire is how. Your desire will lead you if you engage with it every day. So, So it's the starting point of the how. It's not the full how, right? So I desire to win the lottery is not going to cause me to win the lottery. Although buying the ticket, yes, the few times that I did engage in that didn't cause me to win it either. So I said, forget it. But So the desire is so important. and it is the starting point of the how.
Yeah.
So maybe we can, discover what some more of the how is. Or what are your questions?
Yes, actually, I think the question that would be perfect is if we know, we're here mentally, logically thinking, is we know that the desire is the starting, and if it will lead us if we engage with it every day. So I think the burning question is, how do we engage with our desire every day?
And there's so many layers to that question. Right? Because there's so many layers of desire. Right? I desire to, to have a lot of energy today. I desire to be of service today. I desire to really discover my true calling. Those are different levels. I desire to lose weight. Those are all different levels of that. So, but let's dive in.
Engage. Yeah, the engaging.
Yes,
I know some people you find the engage that, yes, meditation, yes, but yes, what does that mean for someone to engage versus but connect and
yes, I like that word, engage. Okay, so how can we engage with our desire every day? So, a few seconds to get silent. I seem to have lost here it is, my rainbow shawl that I put on the top of my head. Okay, a few seconds to get silence and connect deeper with the divine, who's already here, of course, and then turning it over to them.
Okay.
Hello, divine. We're so glad that we're here with you and wanting to learn more about how we can engage with our desire every day. What is the best way? What are some tips and tools? How can you help us with this? We are pleased with this question. We are pleased with your interest and your willingness and your desire. Your desire is within you. Your desire for that which is highest and best for you is within you. Your desire for even a little better is within you. So that which will transform you, will elevate you, will bring you to a higher, sweeter, more delicious place of experience is available within you. That desire is there. That is a pilot light that has never gone off, but for some of you it flickers. For some of you, that pilot light is flickering, the pilot light of desire. And so really be in touch with your desires. What is it that you desire most? Start to go deeper with that. Go to a deeper place with it, a deeper level. What do I desire? Have it be more than the surface. Have it be more than a good day or a good hair day or, my friend to call me or my spouse to cook a meal for me. Have it be more than that. Have it be the depth of desire. And the depth of desire that is within you is the desire to grow into the fullness of who you are, into the brilliance of who you are, into the expansion of who you are. And that depth of desire is within you. And it is important to access that. One can spend their whole life on surface desires, which are the tip of the iceberg of desire. And so go deep, dive deep into yourself to discover what is the deep desire of your heart, of your true self, of the truth of who you are. You can only know this by going within and allowing us to be your guides. Allow us to help you to get deeper. Meditate. Choose to meditate. Be at peace. Choose to be at peace. ask for help. If you cannot find the way to be at peace, if you cannot find the way to meditate, if you cannot find the way to ask, then ask this one thing: help me, and we will help you. Your desire is within you for the purpose of discovery, for the purpose of fulfillment, not for the purpose of unfulfillment, for frustration, but for the purpose of being fulfilled. And so we say, aligned with your deepest desires of your heart. You may not even know what those are. Many of you have not dove deep enough yet to find those true desires, but your heart knows. Align with your heart. Open your heart. Open your heart to us. Open your heart to the divine connection, and open your heart to the human, the connection, to your deepest humanity, to the connection, to the depth of your being. And in that connection, in that place of willingness and openness and receptivity, you can access those deep desires. So the first thing is we got to know what those desires are. If you don't know what those desires are, you're not going to access them. And so you're not going to engage with them. You're not going to manifest them. Every desire that is within you is there for the purpose of manifestation. And so to engage every day, sitting in silence and simply bringing the desires to the surface. Oh, I desire to be loved, and I desire to love. I desire to connect. These are the heart's desires. I desire to help people. The heart desires that connection, those desires that are interconnected. And there is a deep desire within you to know yourself, because in the fulfillment of knowing yourself, you self-actualize, you step into and express and manifest the purpose that is yours alone, the purpose that only you can fulfill because of who you uniquely are. And so we are here to encourage that uniqueness, to encourage the discovery of that uniqueness, not the exertion of the uniqueness through the ego, but discovering the uniqueness of who you are by diving deep and finding the gems there that are there for you to discover. Take time in the stillness. Take time asking for our support. Take time to imagine, to uncover the deep desires. They are there. They are not meant to be a mystery. They are there with you, and they are there within you. And we are here with you, and we are here within you as well. We love you so much. We are here, always available to guide you to your inner knowing, to your deepest truth. And it is a step-by-step process. It is something that is a process of discovery and uncovering. It is in this place of beauty and love that we await you in this process of discovery. We are complete. Namaste. Namaste.
A lot of train tracks were just laid. I think something that comes up a lot is for me in there is really having and being aware of this, our self-love, because we have to feel safe. We want to feel safe. We have to have that safe to be able to go and look there, to look at the desires. I know a lot of people cut themselves off from looking at their desires because they already have a fear of them, of getting to know them, of thinking other people think they can't have them or stopping them, like a lot of external fears. And I think that self-love really is almost like the foundation for someone to be able to go into there, to connect and engage with a desire.
Absolutely, absolutely. And my book, the channel book, An Intimate Dialogue with God, The Miraculous Power of Unconditional Self-Love, it shares a lot about how self-love is the foundation for a happy and fulfilled life. It is the foundation for discovering the truth of who you are. And self-love is within us, but we've layered over it all of this other stuff. So deep inside, the essence of who we are is self-love. But we've layered the judgment, and we feel shame and blame and all of those things. So yes, restoring self-love is the path to discovering what is there deeper, those deep desires that are going to fulfill you. You know, it's I mentioned it in the lottery before as just something, but a lot of people desire that so much, and they've done studies of people who've won the lottery in 3 years, they're broke and miserable. And because it isn't that, I'm not saying that it's not the deep desire, but it may not be, you know, because they haven't accessed those deeper desires. They were with that on the surface, and it didn't fulfill.
You just helped me to totally understand finally that question that I was asking about the other day, which was, you had made a comment, was like, if we find out the truth, it's not that we were lying to ourselves, it's just an untruth. And I totally get right now, I have an epiphany of what an untruth is. An untruth, you are right, it's not a lie, it's the truth covered up, like with... Yes, it's the covered up truth. It's not lies, it's covered truth. I love this.
Yes, exactly. So we're not like liars and stuff. You're right. When you speak our truth, that where we go back to the personal truth. When I speak my truth, it is what I know to be true because of what I can see. If I can't see to the depths, then I can only give you a certain level of truth.
Right. And so we're coming full circle to this. I love this because really this entire show today then, and we're going to have more guidance for you guys as Noemi continues to channel some messages, but really this show is about diving through the layers, uncovering, widening or opening up and lifting the blinders, and having this knowingness to be able to take that next step along those truth tracks. I'm loving this and what's coming together. Yeah. So we'll sneak away to commercial, but when we come back, we're going to ask Noemi some more questions that she can ask the divine for us and share with us about how we truly know our truths. Mm-hmm.
A radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Did you know that you have the power to change anything in your life? Did you know you can do so even with the things that you've already decided are impossible to change? Come join me, Venus Castleberg, on Outside the Impossible as I interview people from around the globe that have literally changed the things they thought were impossible to change just by using the amazing tools of Access Consciousness. Now airing Wednesdays 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Do you dare to believe that anything really is possible?
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us here today. You've got Noemi Grace doing our beautiful conversation piece and channeling, and myself, Lisa Berry, kind of tuning in and having fun epiphanies all over the place and asking questions. and
receiving answers.
Yes, and receiving answers. And Noemi, it was funny. I thought, gosh, I think I'm going to go into a sales pitch for people to, like, I want to sell people to, yes, go out and find, who you truly are. And because I wanted to share one of the feelings that I feel, like when I dive, go deep and I find out who I truly am, the feeling I get is that I'm just home. I don't have to be anywhere, but I feel at home. Does that make sense? Does that feel like a feeling that people will get?
To feel at home within ourselves is truly, because we're on a journey home. We're on a journey as a soul back to the truth of who we are. We've kind of lost sight of that, lost the experience of it. So yes, to be at home within yourself. I know for a good chunk of my life, for several decades of my life, probably the first 40 years, I wasn't feeling at home within myself. Aww. And to be able to be at home with yourself and to come back to full circle to yourself and you just know, it's like that comfort. It's like, I'm here. I'm me. I love being me. I don't want to be anybody else. I'm happy being me. And so that comfort is really comes with the discovery of who you are and the acceptance of who you are, and going through the layers of the yucky stuff and realizing that's not you. It's just yucky stuff that's got stuck on top of you that you can clear, you can get rid of.
That is so, I'm having more answers and epiphanies all over the place here. I want to take that example of somebody who wants to quit smoking, and it's, they're probably feeling like I'm just not me. I'm not at home, and I know that I'm doing this thing, and it's not feeling right with me. It's not landing here, but there's a reason why they're doing it, and that's where they need to find that desire. Like the desire really is to feel at home within ourselves. The desire is to express such self-love, like that we just shine. I mean, I think that's what I feel like. That's what we're all. That's what our desire is. We just want to be so shiny because we're happy and home, and then to get through those layers and kind of clear them off.
Yeah, and with any addiction, you lose yourself. You just do. Whether it can be addiction to social media. I mean, it doesn't have to be something bad. You think of addiction like, ooh.
It can be a behavior.
But any kind of addiction or obsession, you lose yourself. And so, yes, to want to return to yourself, that desire, I want to be myself. It's like I want to feel completely comfortable and safe being myself. To authentically be yourself. It is such a journey, and I remember that for a long time I felt like I couldn't be myself with my family. They didn't tell me that, but I just felt like I'm on such a different path than them, and they won't understand the path that I'm on. So I felt that I couldn't be myself with them. And eventually, as I became more and more at home within myself, I started to be myself with them. But I didn't start to tell them, hey, you should do this instead of that. The way I've got a better path. I was just authentic. And a lot of times I didn't even share that much about myself, but I was authentically there with them, and I wasn't trying to be something else, and I wasn't walling myself off. I was showing up as me, which is beautiful.
I love that. It's funny. I'm just laughing right now because I'm thinking of all those times, and many people who feel that way, like I just can't be myself around that person, and I want to talk about this or share this, or but I can't, and so then you're not somebody else. You're not lying, but you are your untruth around those people. And I'm imagining you, almost go as you are with yourself, maybe going into meditation, and really having fun, almost like you're in training. Like the more we are in a space where we are just ourselves, our true selves, and just getting to know ourselves and loving ourselves, it's almost like you get the momentum that when you do step out in front of these people, and I know for me, I used to want to make an announcement like, all right, family, I'm ready to be me. Who's here? Who wants to know who I am? And you're like, no, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
No.
But, family is such a great gauge, and my sister may be listening to this, and if you are, Julie, I love you. But family is there's just such a great gauge of how truly, how much we really have returned to the truth of who we are, because it's so easy to go back. I was going to say regress, but then I thought, I don't want that word. But to go and go back to the old patterns. I used to. There was so many years that I was working on myself and growing and healing and changing, and I would feel like, and I was meeting new people with higher vibration and who had healed themselves. I was feeling in alignment with them, and then I'd go back to my family and I'd act like I was 16 again, and I was like, oh my goodness. I'm not completely home within myself, or it would have just showed up as myself,
Right. Oh, that is so. Well, okay, so now I've received the question.
And let's go for it.
This is an interesting one. So let me wrap you'll help me with this one. The question is okay, so we've been meditating, we've been going within ourselves, and we now want to be this, and now we are expressing who we are, our authentic selves, and our family and our friends or coworkers, and they say, you've changed. You're not being who you are. This is not the real you. And now we either feel shame, embarrassment, fear of being rejected, not acceptance, or retaliation, like defense, like, no, this is me. This isn't the me. How can we have confidence and continue that path of authenticity even when the external world may not be ready yet for that truth to be revealed?
So for me, it's how can we basically continue the path of authenticity even when the feedback we're getting from the outside world is not supportive?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Non-supportive feedback.
Okay. I always write this down, which is just, I have a book and I keep all the questions, but I'm not looking at this question. My eyes are going to be closed in a second. So, this feels like a nice, sweet question. So, Divine, how can we continue the path of authenticity in the face of non-supportive feedback? Because, we've all given it and we've all received it. We are here in great support of you and in great support of this question, because it is a question that aligns with your truth, and not only the surface truth, but the truth of the depth of who you are. And so that path of authenticity and discovery of who you are is vitally important. It is essential. It is why you have come to be in these bodies at this time. And so aligning with that path and continuing that path, sometimes it is as if you are taking a trail in the woods and you have come to a huge tree that has been knocked down. And for some who are not that tall, it may require you to really take your whole body and drag yourself over the tree. And this is kind of what happens when you are with others that give that unsupportive feedback. It can feel like a block, a road barrier in your path, and yet knowing who you are is so why you're here, and it is living who you are is the second part of why you're here, which you cannot do if you do not know who you are. And so the willingness to know and the willingness to live the truth of who you are. Once you realize, I am not who I've thought I was all my life, once you have that aha moment, that realization, it is important to realize also that others are not going to have that realization simultaneously with you. It will take them a while to understand that you are now being you. And sometimes they may have liked the old you, because if the old you was a doormat and they were able to get their needs met, or so they thought, through the doormat, through asking you, insisting, manipulating you to do things, they may not like the new you because it doesn't serve their ego needs. And so to recognize others may be confused by the new you, or uncertain about the new you, or not, which is the real you that you've always been, by the way. But others may not know what to make of the you that you are becoming, which is the truth of you. Accept them as they are, and accept yourself as the truth of who you are. They are in a different place on their journey home, on their journey to the truth of who they are. They are in a different place. Accept them. Allow them to be who they are. But if they are abusive, recognize the importance of walking away from that and setting some clear boundaries. But if they just don't understand you, allow that to be okay. They too are on a journey. They too are on a path of discovery, to the level of which they are willing, of themselves and of the world around them. And they have formed a preconceived notion of who you are, and they have this idea of who you are, and it will take them a while to understand that you have shifted out of that. You have changed. And so if they resist the change, in some ways, recognize that as a sign that you have undergone a deep change, a deep transformation. If the change is it's on the surface, if it just scratches the surface, they would be more easily accepting. That those that recognize or don't recognize, but resist or reject you or are uncomfortable around you, it is because you have gone through a deep transformation and you are in a deep transformational process. So recognize that and embrace that for yourself. Don't judge them. Allow them to be as they are, but take care of yourself. Always take care of yourself. Do what is most self-loving. Be kind with yourself. Be kind with others. And always be gentle. We are fully loving and embracing you every moment, every moment. You are in our hearts, on our hearts, and we love you so much. We are complete. Namaste.
Oh, that was a lot of life guidance in there. I like that one.
Life lessons, yes.
Yeah. You know what? So I love that. I'm just so in love with that help of. I think maybe it's because it's me personally. I feel like I can deal with myself. Well, I'm pretty good with me. I like me. And but with others, that's where my personal struggle comes in. And I love that we can. That is so cool. Like if somebody else is kind of resisting that or saying, "Whoa, this is too much for me," it kind of says to you that, yeah, because you've done a lot. That was a big. You went through a lot of layers, like a deeper transformation. And yeah. Yeah, and if it's incremental, they can handle it and they can see it because they're like, yeah, I can work with that one. Yeah, she likes that food. She likes Brussels sprouts. Now, all right. But that is what was the turnaround for you with today so far? I have to ask this. Yeah, is there a turnaround for you?
Turnaround?
Yeah, like did you get guidance and help of something for you about discovering the truth of who you are?
Well, I just like that piece about that if others don't understand or embrace who you are being, it's because you have undergone a big transformation and they haven't yet been able to wrap themselves around that, to embrace that. So yeah. It's like an affirming thing. Oh, yeah. They're saying, "Who are you? You're a stranger." I've changed so much. I've grown so much that they don't recognize me anymore. It's like getting a haircut, from your hair down to the bottom of your back, yeah. and then getting some kind of trendy, really short haircut, and people not recognizing you. Right. It's that level of transformation. That's a physical transformation that could be large, or losing 50 pounds, or so. Where people don't recognize you, but the internal transformation people don't recognize as well. Sometimes because it's
lost,
so huge.
Right, you've lost 50 pounds of untruths. You've cut off hair.
I like that.
Inches of untruths. And you know what? We wouldn't want to have a lovely change like that. And then you go back and say, why, nobody noticed I lost 10 pounds? Nobody noticed that I got 4 inches off? So it's nice when people notice. And I love that, using that as an indicator, not of resistance, but that it's not a simultaneous acceptance, and everybody's a different place. And I think that's the best place to kind of allow everyone and invite people to discover who they truly are are all these signs around us. I really love this. I love this so much. Oh, Noemi, I love when you channel, and I love when you offer your own guidance.